everybody, and welcome back. This is Retirement Rescue. My name is Dee Burks. I have been thinking about what to do with this channel for the last 6 months or so. And my life over the past 6 years, I started this channel in February of 2020, right at the beginning of the shutdown. I'd planned to start it anyway. That was just happenstance. It happened to be that same month. So it's now been 6 years. My life has dramatically changed in those 6 years. My idea of what my retirement might or might not be has changed dramatically in those 6 years. And I'm sure it has for you all too. And so what I originally started this channel for, which was to talk about how to build a retirement out of nothing, well, the circumstances around how to do that have completely changed. The financial constraints are different. I relocated to another state. And what I decided I wanted for my life, and for the last 25% of my life basically, has changed too. And so over the last 6 months, I have been struggling with the idea of what to do with this channel. And one of the things that I have wanted to do for my own retirement was get back to my roots, get back to the idea of producing my own food. Really enjoying, I love to garden, I love to raise animals, I love to do those things, and I really wanted to do them in a way that benefited me and my pets, my dog, my cats, in a really substantive way. I can't hardly even say that word anymore. Anyway, substantive way. And so I wanted to kind of combine those things. And so over the past 6 months, I've really been diving into that pretty hardcore. And then trying to make the decision of, okay, do I bring you all along on that personal journey? Or do I keep this channel more, hey, here's what you can do to make money. Hey, because honestly, I am bored to death with that. And it's not that it does not apply, it does. In fact, it applies even more. But as we all look into creating a retirement for ourselves at some point down the line, we have all these constraints. My constraint is, number one, I'm about to turn 60. I don't have the physical strength to do a lot of things that I wish I could do. I can't have a large property. I don't have the time or energy to take care of it, or the ability, really. I do not want something that requires a lot of infrastructure, a lot of equipment, a lot of things that I don't want to invest the time in and the money to do. So when I moved to this location, and I love my little house, but it is just a typical city lot. I'm kind of in a historic area of the town I live in. My city lot is about 60 feet wide by 160 feet long. That's it. I don't have an acre. I don't have a quarter. I don't have any part of an acre. I have a little teeny part. I don't even have a quarter acre here. Not even close. And as I thought more and more about what I'm wanting to create for my life, I thought, there are probably a lot of other people in my situation that want to have a retirement that includes these ideas that are almost homesteady ideas. Putting up your own food, growing some of your own food, maybe not all, but some of your own food, doing some of those things, but in a way that fits your constraints. And my constraints are age and physical strength, land, space. I only have so much space, and I live in town. Now, some towns and places where you live are much more restrictive than where I live. Thankfully, I live in a largely agricultural area. Even so, I live in town. And this is a town of 200,000 to 300,000 people. So it's not necessarily a tiny town. So there are constraints. But I can do what I'm wanting to do. So as I've thought more and more about this, I thought, you know what? I think this channel would be better served if I made it more personal rather than less personal. I don't want this to be a general advice channel. Hey, here's what you could do with your retirement dollars. I am sick of hearing that because everyone's circumstances is different. And honestly, all of us are facing questions about finances, especially for retirement. So much has changed financially for everyone, working people, retired people, everybody in between, that a lot of us are even more uncertain today than we were 5 years ago about what retirement might look like. It is a very uncertain time. If history tells us anything, that will work itself out and smooth out, but we don't know at what level or when that might happen. So we've got to deal with what we have. And in my case, I've spent these last 6 months doing some research, but just kind of diving into what I could do. And so I realized changing this channel to Retirement Rescue Homestead, I'm going to lose a lot of followers. Honestly, I don't care. I didn't create this channel just to get a bunch of followers. I created this channel to kind of document my own journey and hopefully help other people figure out what their journey is going to be. I think that's even more applicable today than it was 6 years ago. So I'm hoping people don't get tripped up by the word homestead, because this is not really my idea of the word homestead. But that word tends to attract similarly minded people to where I am right now in my life. I want to create my own and grow my own food. I want to live a life that is fulfilling and joyful. I want to be excited to get out of bed and go take care of animals, or grow squash, or can my tomatoes, or whatever it is, and feel great about it, you know. And that is truly part of who I have always been. I grew up with that. At times during my adult life, I was in it more than out of it. I've even had a large enough place to grow vegetables for the local farmers market. That was 20 years ago. And so I did some of that. So I've done a whole lot of different things in that realm. And this is going to be a very tiny, retirement-focused version of that. And hopefully there are a lot of other people who are interested in learning what little things they can do. Not necessarily produce everything, not necessarily to be off-grid or fully self-sufficient, because for me that's just not practical because of where I am in life, and it may not be for you either. And those are the people I want to talk to. The people who want to do something. The people who want to get started. The people who want to add things to their life that they love and enjoy. So it's really going to be a little bit more personal rendition of how I'm creating that for myself. Hopefully, you all will enjoy it too. Now, having said that, and gotten that out of the way, that's where we're headed. So what's happened the last 6 months? Well, let me tell you what. I did a video about 6 months ago about how I wanted to go into rabbits and quail and start raising them here at my little place, get my garden really up and going, blah, blah, blah. I've been successful with some of that and less successful with others. My raised beds still are not full of dirt. I have dirt sitting in my driveway that's been there for almost a month because I cannot get it back there to the raised beds. I have been too busy and it has been way too hot. It's supposed to be like 105 today. It's been way too hot for me to do it. So I'm going to do it when I can. I'm not going to get tripped up by things that aren't done. I'm just going to do it as I can. My raised beds are out there. Everything's set up. It's just putting the dirt out there. So I'm not going to have a big garden this year. Much like I did last year, I've got tomatoes and some other vegetables in pots on my patio. That's working just fine. My fruit trees are producing fruit. The fruit trees that I planted now 3 years ago are doing wonderfully. I've planted berries. I've done all sorts of different things around here to start the process of making this somewhere where I can really exist and enjoy and benefit from everything that I have, right? Well, about 6 months ago, one of the things that I wanted to do was start raising meat rabbits, something I had not done in the past. My sister raised them for 4-H. I did not. I raised pigs for 4-H when I was in 4-H. I showed pigs. But my sister raised rabbits. But that is something I wanted to do. They are easy, very easy compared to other livestock I have raised. Let me tell you what, until you have chased a pig for 2 miles at a dead run, rabbits are way easier. So, for me, comparatively, rabbits are very easy to care for. For someone of my age, it doesn't require a lot of lifting. They don't need tons and tons of hay. They need some, they need feed, but it's not a huge amount. It's something I can physically do. So I chose meat rabbits to go into. And those are up and going, up and running. I've put quite a bit of meat in my freezer already. Very, very happy with the outcome, and I'm very pleased with the experience of it. So I'm going to be sharing more and more of my rabbitry and what's going on with the buns as we go along. And so that's going to be a big part of this channel too, is my rabbits. Hopefully I'll be able to add quail either this fall or next spring, and get my garden finally going like it should be. But all of those things are part of what I'm doing. In the meantime, I'm grappling with the same things you all are grappling with. I'm still working. I have my own business. I will become eligible this fall when I do turn 60 to start taking a portion, my last husband who died about 10 years ago, to be taking a portion of his Social Security. So I will be under the same Social Security issues, constraints, all of that many of you all are. And so I'll be talking about that some. That's an important part of retirement planning for everyone, is figuring out which pieces of the retirement financial puzzle are going to work for you, and which ones you have access to and which ones you don't. We all have to live in reality. And the reality is, for some of us, the financial side is the most challenging part. Actually, all of us, the financial side is the most challenging part of it. And it does not matter if you have planned your whole working life and set aside lots of money and feel like maybe you felt like 5 years ago you were almost there, you're almost ready. Because I have a sister who's in this situation. She's done everything right, and good for her. She's a CPA. She's done everything right, set aside money, but guess what? She's feeling the pinch too. She's feeling that fear too, because where you thought you were good 5 years ago looking into the future, things have changed. And now everyone, I don't care how much you have set aside, is starting to have that fear. But what if I run out of money? What if it's not enough? What if I haven't done enough? Everyone is feeling that. And so I think we can all relate to that. But my channel is going to be about living simply. My goal for my retirement is peace. That is it. Peace. Absolute peace. In whatever form that takes. And for me, that is fewer people in my life. Fewer strangers. I keep my circle very small. And more joy. More things that I love to do. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about, is how I do that and how I make that happen financially, but also on the joy and fulfillment side. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. So I hope you'll be along with me for this journey. I'm going to probably be posting a flurry of videos here the next little bit. I have missed creating videos, but it's hard to create when you don't exactly know what to say. And that's where I've kind of been the last 6 months. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go both feet in, all in for this type of idea, but you know what? That's where I'm at. So I'm just going to do it. And I understand if some of you don't follow along. That's great. If it's not for you, that's totally fine. But for those of you who have stuck around, I hope you find this interesting, and maybe you can incorporate some of this in what you're doing too. So thanks for hanging around and watching this video, and I will see you next time.